also known as ADS Play 202 on TikTok, and welcome to the Pokemon Unite test server. As you guys know, periodically they release upcoming Pokemon on the test server, and I do a quick overview of the characters and just do a quick see of what we're going to be expecting in the main game. So this is the first time this is happening. We're getting two releases literally 3 days apart. And it is the twins, Latios and Latias, the offspring of Lugia, which low-key, I hope this means we're getting Lugia soon in the game. I hope that's what this means. But we're getting Latios getting released on July 18th. And then we're getting Latias released on Monday, which is the 21st. So they're literally getting released like 3 days apart from each other. But first, we're going to be taking a look at Latios since he's the first one coming out. Now, one thing I can say just off the top, both of these characters are meant to be used in tandem. They're supposed to be used simultaneously, meaning that if one person is using Latios, who's ever the partnering lane should be using Latias, for the simple fact that their moves are meant to be used together in order to bring out their full potential. As you see, as I read over their moves, there's multiple times where if Latios uses a move, or if Latias uses a move, the other one is supposed to use a move right along with it in order to do more damage, make an effect last longer, or things of that nature. So first, we're going to be taking a look at Latios, who is a ranged attacker, coming to Pokemon Unite soon, July 18th. We're going to be taking taking a look at his moves. The basic attack deals damage, nothing special about that. Levitate is the passive. When this Pokemon uses a move, its movement speed increases for a short time. Similarly, when Latias is nearby, this Pokemon's movement speed increases. When Latias is on the same team as this Pokemon can fly to Latias. This ability can only be used when the Pokemon is not in combat. That ability goes in cooldown after it's triggered. The first set of moves is Confusion, Luster Purge, and Telekinesis. So Confusion releases a weak telekinetic force to the designated direction, dealing damage and applying a slowing effect to opposing Pokemon it hits. Luster Purge has the user let loose a ball of light after a set amount of time passes, or if this move is used again, the ball of light releases all at once, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits and marking them. The user and any Latias on the user's team deal increased damage to mark opposing Pokemon, and the upgrade increases the duration of that mark. And then the last, Telekinesis, it's a sure hit. Has the user unleash a psychic power in the designated direction, dealing damage, applying a slowing effect to opposing Pokemon it hits. If the user hits an opposing Pokemon with this move, the move can be used again to unleash psychic power at a designated opposing Pokemon, dealing damage to it. If the second Pokemon is hit by this move, it is different from the first. The two Pokemon are pulled towards each other and are unable to act if they collide. If the second Pokemon is hit by this move as the same as the first, it is left unable to act. The upgrade strengthens the slowing effect applied by this move. And the second set of moves is Swift, Dragon Pulse, and Draco Meteor. So the Swift shoots a star-shaped rays across a large area in a designated direction, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon it hits. Dragon Pulse, after the user learns this move, it gains Eon power whenever it defeats a wild Pokemon. This move has the user dash in a designated direction and makes its next basic attack a boosted attack. If the user hits an opposing Pokemon with a boosted attack, the user gains Eon power. This boosted attack also releases telekinetic projectiles which deal damage. The more Eon power the user has accumulated, the more projectiles are released and the more damage they deal. Upgrade, telekinetic projectiles deal additional damage to opposing Pokemon equal to a set percentage of their maximum HP. And Draco Meteor has the user learns this after the user learns this move, it gains Eon power whenever it defeats wild Pokemon. This move has the user summon down comets onto a designated area, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon they hit. If this move hits Pokemon on the opposing team, the user gains Eon Power. The more Eon Power the user has accumulated, the more comments are summoned and the more damage they deal. Comments deal additional damage to opposing Pokemon equal to a set percentage of their max HP, and the Unite move, Eon Blast, has the user aim at the designated opposing Pokemon and charge power before releasing a pulse dealing damage. The user moves cooldown. The user move cooldowns immediately reset and are reduced for a short period of time. If Latias is also aiming its Unite move at the designated opposing Pokemon, the pulses stack and explode, dealing damage around the target as well. Now, unfortunately, there's no way for me to partner up with Latias in the test server, so unfortunately, the effects of combining their moves I can't show. So that's the only downside. So just a heads up. So again, Confusion shoots that out, slows them down. Swift, it shoots 3 stars in a direct line, like in a straight line, and it goes through target. So I guess that's pretty good for like a starting move. You know, low key, you might be able to finesse hitting 3 of them if you angle it right. So Luster Purge, it shoots a ball of light out, and after it travels maximum distance, it marks them. And if Latias is with you, it does additional damage to the target. But you can also release it and press the button again, and it'll also explode early. So you don't have to wait for it to travel maximum distance. Now next up is Dragon Pulse. Dashes in the direction and then shoots a straight beam out. The whole time this is going on, you're gathering Eos energy. Now that is the key for both of these characters, by the way. Eos energy is the triangle that you see at the bottom. Once it reaches a certain amount, it's going to shoot out more. When it reaches about like 24 or so, that's when you're going to start seeing the extra attacks come out. Yeah, so it maxes out at 6. So by the time you reach like 130 Eos energy, that's when you really get a maximum. So if you end up going the Dragon Pulse route, you're really going to want to use it a lot in order to max that out. So Telekinesis, I want to be able to test this out. So this works similarly to like Grass Knot. If you know about Grass Knot, if it attaches to 2 separate Pokemon, it pulls them together and it kind of stuns them. So if you connect Telekinesis, with Telekinesis, you can use it twice. You can attach it to one Pokemon, then attach it to the other, and if it attaches to 2 separate Pokemon, it pulls them together and it stuns them. But if you hit the same Pokemon with both of the attacks, it stuns them as well. So that's 1. Boom. Brings them together, stuns them. So that's how that works. Boom. Stuns them. Etc. Giving them a stun as well. Now Draco Meteor. Ooh. They gather Eos energy up. And it's the same as Dragon Pulse. The more you use it, the more meteors you have coming down. So once your Eos energy reaches a certain amount, around 25 Eos energy, or excuse me, Eon energy, I'm saying Eos, around 25 Eon energy, this is when you're going to start seeing more attacks from Draco Meteor. If it's anything like Dragon Pulse, then around like 130, that's when you're going to start seeing it max out. Yeah, okay, so around like 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so around 100 is when you're going to start seeing the maximum of 6 out. Maybe it can do more, but I think 6 is the maximum that it sends out. Between the both of them, Dragon Pulse gives you the maneuverability that you might want, but Draco Meteor gives you more like distance, and I think over time this is better for team fights, because it can hit more people. So its Unite move charges up, shoots a blast. It doesn't look like much because again, it's supposed to be teamed up with Latias's Unite move in order for it to show the explosions and last longer. So it doesn't look like much, but again, I have no way to have both of them on the map at the same time on the same team to show off that ability. But this move is supposed to be used in tandem with Latias's Unite move. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to Latias, the supporter. Take a look at this thing moves. So basic attacks pretty much the same. Levitate pretty much the same as Latios, the exact same as Latios. If Latios is around, it flies to it quicker. So it has Confusion, Mistball, and Dragon Cheer. Now Confusion releases a weak telekinetic force in a designated direction, dealing damage, applying the slowing effect. Mistball has the user release a mist-like flurry down on a designated direction after a set amount of time passes, or if the move is used again, the flurry of downburst creating the flurry of after a set amount of time, or if the move is used again, the flurry of downburst creating a zone of mist. Opposing Pokemon in the zone take damage, receive a slowing effect, and are marked. Marked opposing Pokemon deal decreased damage. If either Latias or Latios hits marked Pokemon with basic attacks, the duration of those Pokemon remain marked increases. The upgrade increases the duration of the opposing Pokemon remain marked. Dragon Cheer has the user rally the designated ally Pokemon, granting its next one basic attack additional damage. This move can be used again to rally a second designated ally Pokemon. If this second usage rallies the same ally Pokemon as the first, the user also flies to that Pokemon and rallies itself, and the upgrade gives it a shield. The second set is Swift, Dragon Pulse, and Dragon Breath. So Swift has the user shoot star-shaped rays across a large area in a designated direction, dealing damage. Now, it's described this. Now, this is the same description as the Swift on Latios. However, it's like a fan shape. With Latios, it shoots down. Well, appreciate it, Caster. The Swift with Latios shoots in a straight line. You're gonna see it when I show you the moves. But Latias is in like a fan shape, kind of like in like a cone shape. The Swift for Latias shoots like that. But it's described the same as Latios. Now, Dragon Pulse, after the user learns this move, it begins to gain Eon energy. Any Eon power whenever it defeats wild Pokemon. This move has the user generate a beam in a designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits, and restoring the user's HP. If the user hits an opposing Pokemon with this move, it gains Eon power. This move also releases telekinetic projectiles, which deal damage. The more Eon power the Pokemon has accumulated, the more projectiles they release and the more damage they deal. The upgrade, the beam also applies a slowing effect. And then there's Dragon Breath. Has the user after the user learns this move, it gains Aeon power whenever it defeats wild Pokemon. This move has the user exhale a mighty gust in a designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits and decreasing their special defense. If this move hits Pokemon on the opposing team, the user gains Eon power. The more Eon power the user has accumulated, the greater the move's attack range and damage. And the upgrade also applies a slowing effect. And the Unite move, Mist Blast, has the user aim at the designated opposing Pokemon and charge power before releasing a pulse, dealing damage. The user's move cooldowns immediately reset and are reduced for a short time. If Latios is aiming its Unite move at the designated Pokemon, the pulses stack and explode, dealing damage around the target as well. The substitution dog. Now, as you can see, this one fans out. It fans out. Now, let me turn the cooldowns off so you can see. This one fans out. With Latios, it just shoots in a straight direction. This one fans out. And then Confusion, of course, pretty basic, pretty standard. So we got that. Level them up. Let's see. We're going to go with Dragon Pulse, and we're going to go with Mist Ball as the first two moves. Mist Ball, of course. Same thing as Luster with Latios. You can actually release it or make it explode earlier. After it reaches maximum distance, it's going to explode, but you can shoot it again, or you can shoot it and press the button again, and it can explode manually. Now, Dragon Pulse, unlike Latios, Latios' Dragon Pulse, it's a dash and then it's a ranged basic attack that gains Eon power, right? This one is like a wide fan, which does pretty good, but it works the same, but it heals Latias. It heals Latias. So the more you use it, and it's the same Aeon power, around like 25 is when you start seeing the additional attacks, the additional telekinetic attacks. It maxes out at 6 projectiles. When you get to around like 100, that's when you start seeing the max out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what Dragon Pulse looks like. Again, I have no way to show off Dragon Shear whatsoever, because it's just no, like, I don't have a partner to use it on. But, you know, it grants him an additional basic attack, well, an additional basic attack worth of damage, and it flies to that ally Pokemon when you use it again on them. So that's what it's supposed to do. Now, Dragon Pulse shoots Dragon Breath, marks him, and if Latios is with you, then basic attacks do additional damage. I don't think, and it decreases their special defense, and the range changes. So let's see, around like 25, that's when we start seeing range. So let's try to max it out real quick, like right here, like right here. That's some pretty good range. It doesn't do that at first. So if let me go back. And right here, I don't think it catches. It doesn't. When it maxes out, you get a pretty good range on it. When it maxes out, you do get a pretty good range on it. All right. Now it's your night move. Again, the exact same as Latias. Their moves are supposed to be used together in order to create a big explosion. So you kind of need both of them on the same team in order to bring out the full potential of either of them. So that was my quick overview of both Latios and Latias in the Pokemon Unite test server. Remember, these Pokemon are featured in the test server, so they are subject to change, so just keep that in mind. So their main game counterparts may be slightly different with some changes, so just keep that in the back of your head. Now, Latios is getting released July 18th, and Latias is getting released July 21st. So we're getting Latios on Friday in 2 weeks, actually next week on Friday, and then 3 days after that on Monday on the 21st, we're getting Latias. So we're getting literally back-to-back releases, pretty much, with just days within each other. So this is like kind of the first time Pokemon Unite has done this. I would say ever. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my overview of both Latios and Latias in the Pokemon Unite test server. Hopefully you guys are excited for the twins coming to Pokemon Unite real soon, right around the corner. And hopefully this is a sign that maybe, just maybe, the third Pokemon in this lineup is Lugia. Fingers crossed. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Peace, and I will see you guys on Eos Island.